Welcome back to ESPN First Take, presented by DirecTV.
Upsets make March Madness. We've had 15 seeds beat 2 seeds, 14s over 3s. But never before has a 16 beaten a 1 in the men's tournament. They are 0-92, but it has happened in the women's tournament one time. That was 10 years ago when 16 seed Harvard shocked the world by beating number 1 seed Stanford. Steve Cyphers takes us down memory lane.
This is it, folks. If it's not here, it's not going to happen. Let's jump across the bracket to the West, and the number 1 seed in the West, Stanford. They'll open up against Harvard. Cardinals begin their quest for a 4th straight Final Four appearance.
We were very, very upset we were 16. We thought that was disrespect.
While Harvard felt it was seeded too low, Stanford was no longer the team that had earned a number 1 seed, having lost 2 of its star players, Vanessa Nygaard and Kristen Focal, to injury in the week leading up to the game.
It was totally depressing in the gym. There was absolutely no enthusiasm. With those 2 injuries, no one wanted to practice. It was really, really hard week.
Not so for a giddy Harvard, who, the day before the game, got its first look at Stanford's home court and a feel of the floor with a unique spring suspension.
So we were a little nervous going into the game just because the floor was just so different. I could not hit a shot. And my coach actually came over to me and said, "Are you okay? Are you going to be okay?" And I was like, "I cannot hit a shot."
Hours before tip-off, the nerves had clearly passed.
We didn't go in the game with any trepidation. We just didn't entertain the negative outcome.
The first half belonged to Harvard and Allison Feaster.
Feed inside for the left-hand runner by Feaster. A 4-point lead, and the Crimson enjoying it while it lasts. And a 16-4 Harvard run. Feaster drills it from the foul line.
It really probably didn't matter who was guarding me that game. I don't think I could have stopped myself.
Ending a memorable first half for Harvard. And they have a 9-point lead on stunned Stanford.
Running into the locker room at halftime in this really narrow hallway that reverberated and screaming at the top of our lungs, Harvard Boomaye, which just means Harvard kill.
It took Stanford more than 10 minutes of the second half to pull even, and everyone wondered the same thing.
The sensation in the game was, when is the other shoe going to drop?
Okay, we're going to come back, we're going to snap out of it, but, when is that going to happen?
Down by 1 with less than 2 to play, Harvard's Kathy Delaney-Smith broke out the flashcard she'd made to combat the noise at Maples Pavilion.
Miller, huge shot by Susie Miller.
Still up by 1 with less than a minute to play, Miller all but ensured history.
Now the three-pointer for Miller buries it. Harvard's got a 4-point lead with 45 seconds left. Unbelievable shot, just what Harvard needed.
The first win ever by a number 16 seed over a number 1 seed.
I remember going through the line, shaking the Stanford players' hands, and just really being in shock. Did this happen?
It did happen 10 years ago, and the end-of-game hero, Susie Miller, is now Dr. Susie Miller. She did a residency at Stanford, where she still played pickup basketball.
This guy comes up to me and goes, "Were you on that team?" And I was like, "What team?" He's like, "Oh, the team that beat Stanford." And I said, "Yeah, I actually was." And he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Well, it's Susie Miller." And he goes, "You hit the shot! You hit the shot!"
Great story. Graduates from that Harvard team actually had class rings made. On the inside of the ring is an inscription. It reads 71-67 WBS. We beat Stanford. Going into this tournament, they are the only 16 seed ever to beat a 1 seed on either the women's or the men's side of the NCAA tournament. What would happen if the winner of tonight's opening round game between Mount St. Mary's and Coppin State beats North Carolina? Would that be a 17 seed beating a 1? Could it happen? Well, watch the drama unfold. You'll watch that opening round game, 7:30 Eastern Time, over on ESPN tonight. Mount St. Mary's and Coppin State, a couple of Cinderellas. After that, it's NIT first-round action. Maryland and Minnesota should start around 9:30 Eastern Time again over on ESPN. And still to come on today's ESPN First Take, we answer our Sports Nation poll question. We wanted to know from you which NCAA tournament region is the most difficult. We'll have the results shortly. And fourth down is just around the corner. Skip and LZ talk women's hoops. Pat Summitt and Tennessee, or the field. Who are they taking? Come back and find out.